Traditions and customs are national treasure. Kazakh people observe traditions over many centuries. The great step is an amulet of the country. You can watch the customs and traditions of the Kazakhs in the Modern Nomads program. The Kazakh systems of customs and traditions has a separate part called taboos and rituals. There isn't a custom without a ritual, a taboo without a tradition. Back in the old days, children were brought up based on taboos and rituals. For example, there is a ritual like koruktik kuyu, pouring lead to make a baby stop being afraid. Koruktik is poured over the baby's bedhead. If a baby gets frightened of something, lead was melted, poured down a cradle bedhead so that a baby wouldn't have a sensation of fear. This ritual is common over all the Kazakh land.
Бала шошына берген жағдайда түнде, ол бір енді бір дерттің түрі ғой, сол дерттен аластау рәсімін жасаған.
If a baby kept being frightened, they would perform a ritual of alastau, fumigating or driving out of evil spirits or a disease. We may say that alastau is our national knowledge with magic power. One of it is pouring lead to get rid of fright. Generally, this ritual is done not only for a child, but to an adult as well. It is poured if an adult has got severe fright. The word koruktik originated from that case and the key word korku, which means be afraid. It drives the sensation of fear out of a human body. When the lead is melted and poured, it makes a noisy bubbling and hissing sound like fizz. Hearing this sound, a man has a sensation of fear like I will burn myself, so he gets rid of a previous sensation of fear. This magic driving out is considered to be one of the ways.
Адамда тағы бір қорқыныш сезім болады да, соныменен оның бойындағы алдыңғы қорқыныш сезім шығып кетеді. Бұл аластау магиясының бір шарасы деп айтсақ болады.
Another part of rituals and taboos related to a cradled baby is hanging various pendant trinkets like salpin shak. Salpin shak may be a holy animal's claw or tooth or a bird's wing. There is a belief that a predator's tooth and claw drives a sense of fear out of a baby's body, and an owl is a holy bird. People consider that its feathers protect the baby from evil spirits. As for gems, agate and coral ward the baby off the evil eye and tongue.
Бесікті бөлегеннен кейін бесікке әр түрлі мына тотемдік заттар, тотемдік күші бар.
After putting the baby into a cradle, different things with either totemic or magic power were hung on the cradle. So a golden eagle's claw or an owl's claw or a bunch of an owl's feathers were hung on the cradle. Down by the river Sirdarya in the south of Kazakhstan, they make unleavened hard bread between two pans in hot ash. That bread is called shim shima. It is cooked with 7 corners so the baby will be open to 7 sciences. Its surface is like the sun. Up to now, this tradition is kept alive down by the Sirdarya. If you visit that region, you will see that bread is hung on the cradle. That bread will never go off and grow moldy. To attract the eye, when a man looks at the cradle for the first time, they would hang the evil eye bead to activate its magic power. First, it protects babies from the evil eye. Second, it protects them from waking up in fear. As for the babies who get frightened at night, they put a knife under its cradle downy layer. They put a wolf's tooth. Based on the tradition, the wolf's tooth has got magic power.
Мамығының астына пышақ қойып қойған. Қасқырдың тісін қойып қойған. Қасқырдың тісі де жалпы мына ата-бабаларымыздан келе жатқан дәстүр бойынша магиялық күшке ие.
The ancient Kazakhs had plenty of rituals related to children's upbringing. For example, growing a hair lock at the top of the head called Aydar. Cutting a fringe comes from rituals and taboos. To protect from the evil's eye and tongue, they let the boys grow a hair lock, a fringe for the girl. The ancient nomad Kazakhs sewed gems on the girl's dress and coat. They put a red dress and a hat, takiya. They put up owl feathers on both the girl's and boy's hat, takiya. It also protects from the evil's eye and tongue.
бала тәрбиесіне байланысты наным сенімдерге келейік. Жалпы адамның дүниеге келгеннен дүниеге өткенге дейінгі тұрмыс тіршілігі осы наным сенімдермен тығыз байланысты десек, артық айтпаған болар едім.
Let's talk about the firm beliefs related to the children's upbringing. I wouldn't exaggerate if I said that generally all humans' existence from birth to death is closely connected with these firm beliefs. As soon as the baby is born, it is given a name. They give it a name saying a special prayer. Giving a name to a baby, the Kazakhs prayed for the good. They performed the rituals. If the previous babies died or got a miscarriage, the next baby's navel cord was cut off with an axe. So they gave it the name Baltabai or Timirbai. That is to say, to make the baby strong like metal and balanced like the axe. Or to make it survivable, they called it Tursin. Also, there is a Kazakh word, Itsandi, which literally means with a dog's soul. In other words, a cat with 9 lives. Why do they call it Itjandi? To make the child survivable no matter what disease it might have. If it survives a few times, they call it Jandi. There was a ritual of letting the baby go under the dog to make it tough and survivable if the previous babies died young. To make it have 9 lives, so they called it Itimgien, fed by the dogs. Italmas, the dog won't take it. In old times, such names were very common. Nowadays, such names are not popular. However, there are cases when such names are given to a baby.
Итжанды болсын деп ырымдап сөйтіп атын итемген қойған, итемір қойған, италмас қойған. Ондай аттар Қазақта бұрынғы кезеңде кездескен. Қазіргі кезеңде бұл аттарды қоймайды, бірақ өмірде осындай аттар болғаны белгілі.
The ancient Kazakhs paid great attention to giving names to a baby. They considered a name to shape the baby's destiny. That is why they were eager to give it a good name. They gave the name of honorable and reputable people. All these came from convictions and beliefs. Besides this, they invited cue singers and talented people to give the baby a name. There was a tradition to cut off a patch of their outerwear cloth to make a nappy for the baby. They treated the baby with their leftovers to let it be talented. All these rituals were caused by the desire for the best.
Қазақтың жалпы наным сенім ырым тиымдары ол өте ерекше әрі қызыққа толы деп те айтуға болады.
We may say that Kazakh firm beliefs and rituals are full of peculiar value. As for traditional beliefs related to life and living, for instance, there used to be plenty of people's names ending like Bai and Bek. Such endings as Han and Sultan were given for the good. Following a firm belief, they would give such names to let the baby become a public person and serve the nation. It was the same for the girl. For example, there are endings like I, the moon, Juldiz, a star, Kun, the sun. There are names such as Juldizai, Altanai. They would give such names with a firm belief that they will shine and be like the moon and stars in the sky.
Жарқырап тұрсын деген сияқты наным сенімменен осылай қойып отырған.
There are plenty of examples related to firm beliefs. If a baby sleeps lying supine, it would become a renowned person. If the baby lies sidelong in a fetal position, it will be pessimistic and weak-willed. If the baby lies face down in a prone position, it will be a thinker. If it sleeps with its arms and legs widespread, it will be brave and outstanding. If the baby puts its foot on a big dish, it is considered to be a sign of prosperity. All these were well-grounded. These beliefs come from millennial nomadic experience.
Сосын кейбір бала дүниеге пердесімен келетін болған. Ал перде деп отырған сөз, ол баланың шарайнасы. Кейбір балалар
Also, the baby was born in its bag of waters, perde. The bag of waters is the baby's amniotic sac. Some babies are born in their amniotic sac. It is a rare occasion, but still happens at times. Today, there are cases when babies are born in their bag of waters. Such baby is protected from the evil eye because the baby born in its amniotic sac is good-looking and cute. That is why they wouldn't say it was born in its bag of waters to protect it from the evil eye. They would call it, euphemistically, born in a goat skin. Thus, a midwife would tear the bag of waters by hand but would bite it with teeth and bury it under a tree where no foot may tread according to the ritual. So the girl would be called Perdigul, the boy Perdibek. Generally, it is thought that people with such names are good-looking in life, and when the baby is grown up, his life is connected with firm beliefs, taboos, and rituals.
Ол бала әрмен қарай өскен кезеңде де оның бүкіл жаңағы тіршілігі наным сенім ырым тиіммен байланысты.
As the word taboos and rituals speaks for itself, they prevent the man from doing bad things and accustomed to the good. Taboos and rituals never contradict life principles of our nation. That is why they have been preserved up to now. Nomadic existence is rich in taboos and rituals, customs and traditions. For example, seasonal migration, livestock grazing, understanding the universe by nomads are all based on these firm beliefs. The proverbs like, if the moon is with a halo, prepare your foot. If the sun is with a halo, prepare your shovel. The halo was a sign of the rainy or snowy weather and originated from the ancient customs and traditions, taboos and rituals.
Қазақтың наным сенім ырым тиімдар жүйесі қазақ халқының рухани мәдениетінің ажырамас бір бөлігі деп айтсақ болады. Наным сенім ырым тиімдар жүйесі.
We can say that the system of Kazakh firm beliefs, customs, and traditions is an inseparable part of the Kazakh nation's spiritual culture. The system of Kazakh firm beliefs, customs, and traditions is our spiritual heritage which was passed down from a grandfather to father and son, from generations to generations. Firm beliefs, taboos, and rituals, all these are connected with religious traditions. When we officially accepted Islam in the 10th century, Abu Hanif Islamic religious schools spread in our land and were not against traditions in Turkic existence. Preserving the traditions, they adapted Islam, and our local taboos and rituals, firm beliefs used daily before accepting Islam are closely connected with spiritual traditions performed by our ancestors. Traditions of our ancestors which contradicted Islam were eliminated, and the firm beliefs which did not contradict Islam have been preserved up to today.
Қайшы келетін дәстүрлер олар қолданыстан шығып қалды. Ал ислам дініне қайшы келмейтін наным сенімдер жүйесі бүгінгі күнге дейін сақталып жетіп отыр.
In the system of Kazakh taboos and rituals, there are plenty of traditions to observe the decencies for the daughter-in-law and woman. For example, the woman who has given birth to a baby shouldn't boo a dog out of the house. If she does, her tooth will fall out. The daughter-in-law shouldn't go after water at night. She shouldn't hang out laundry. She may get fright disease. A pregnant woman shouldn't hold a saw or scissors. She may have an early baby delivery. A pregnant woman shouldn't eat a hare's meat. There was a superstition that if she does, her baby will have a cleft lip. A daughter-in-law shouldn't sit in an upper place of honor, which is for a guest or the head of the family. All these taboos relate to the woman's decencies and the daughter-in-law's upbringing. This was the national upbringing of the ancient nomad Kazakhs.
Байырғы ата-бабаларымыз көшпелі болды ғой. Мерзімдік қоныстарға көшті, қыстаудан жайлауға, жайлаудан күздеуге, қайттан көктеуге, сол әр көшке шығу ырыммен.
The ancient Kazakhs were nomads. They migrated seasonally in winter to the winter pasture, Kustau, from Kustau to the summer pasture, Jailao, from Jailao to the autumn pasture, Kuzdyu, from Kuzdyu to the spring pasture, Kokte. Every seasonal migration was connected with rituals. They migrated only on a favorable day. Why did the Kazakhs call Wednesday a lucky day? They did not set off on another day. On a lucky Wednesday, they packed and set off at sunrise. Also, there is a word, Kosh Saltanat, which means a feast in honor of migration. It still exists today. Why did they call it Kosh Saltanat? The Kazakhs dressed up before setting off. They kept decent clothing in a trunk and wore other clothing in everyday life. Their dressing up was embroidered, laced, and embellished beautifully. They started seasonal migration well dressed and festively. There was a ritual for the good. That was the ritual to end the seasonal migration and get to the new place successfully. Also, before starting the seasonal migration, they lighted a fire in 2 places and let the livestock go between them. Afterwards, a loaded camel caravan passed between the 2 fires as well. There was an ancient belief that settled camp had devils. They would go between the 2 fires to get rid of those devils and leave them in the old place. Generally speaking, the Kazakhs drove away devils and evil spirits with fire. Another part of taboos and rituals related to the seasonal migration are about the 4 types of livestock: camels, horses, cows, and small cattle like sheep and goats. The migration procession starts with a respected old man, Aksakal. After him, the beauty of the steppe, go the youth like mountain flowers. They sing a song, joke, and give character to the procession. After this group, old women in white shawls, Shilaush, go, followed by the younger women in white shawls, Joly. This order mustn't be changed because it comes from taboos and rituals.
Қарқаралы көш деген ұғым бар. Ол да осы қазақтың ырымымен байланысты. Көшке көз тимесін деп.
There's a notion like Karkarali, Kosh, procession with crane's feathers. It is connected with the Kazakh ritual. They start migration procession festively and beautifully. They would pin up crane's feathers on such a beautiful procession to protect from the evil's eye. There's a Kultav's painting, Kosh Saltanat, migration feast, in the Central State Museum. The 4 crane's feathers are pinned up on there. They've got a parrot's tail's feathers from sellers. They bought it and pinned up on the procession pack to protect from the evil's eye. If the Kazakhs couldn't get a parrot's feathers, they used a pheasant's long tail feathers to make a bunch. They made a decorative bunch of feathers called shoki uki. They made such a bunch and pinned up on packs and set off for migration. They called it karkara, a crane. They still use a crane's feather from the evil's eye nowadays. It is preserved in Erol.
Сөйтіп көшке шыққан соны олар қарқара деп атаған. Осы қауырсынның құйрығын әлі күнге дейін көз тиюден қорғануға қолданады, ол аралда сақталған.
The Kazakhs never tell the number of their children and cattle. Nobody asks questions like, how much cattle have you got, or how many children have you got? It also comes from superstitions. They were afraid of the evil's eye to tell the number of livestock. They wouldn't show a newborn fowl or lamb to a stranger. They kept them in secret. They would ride a fast pacer horse covered with horsecloth and pinned up in owl feathers on it. This habit came from the superstition that it could catch a cold.
Малдың басын сақтауға қатысты түрлі осы наным сенім ырым тиымдарды қолданған мал қораға.
They followed firm beliefs, taboos, and rituals to keep the number of cattle. They would hang a sheep's radio bone in a cattle barn, first to protect it from robbers, second to protect the cattle from the evil's eye. Actually, they would hang an array of sheep's radio bones inside of houses rich with cattle. You can read about it in Shokhan Walikhanov's essays.
Бай адамдардың тіпті киіз үйінің ішінде қағаз қатар ілініп тұратын болған кәржілік. Ол Шоқан Уәлихановтың да жазбасында бар.
Taboos and rituals are traditions that either complement or contradict each other. For example, rituals appeared for the good and taboos appeared to protect from the bad. The Kazakh customs and traditions is a science with deep genre meaning. These customs and traditions help preserve our national identity in an era of globalization. We have to keep our customs and traditions as the apple of our eye to remain an advanced country in the 21st century.